Abundance deep dive, day number 8. It's been a crazy, sweaty, hot day. It's like 32 degrees here, and that's hot for us. Holy crap, we were talking today about actual action steps to get yourself out of scarcity. There's been quite a few people I found on the calls and in the group that are looking for this to be their magic pill, that, nothing's happening and they're still in scarcity. And I'm looking at them like, I totally get it, because when you're in it, it's hard to see a way out. So what happens is sometimes, and we talked about this the other day when I was sitting in my car, sometimes the way out is through the shit. And sometimes what we do is make the shit out to be irrational fears. So for myself, I was afraid that my students weren't going to like me, that everybody would just completely, give me the big fuck you, and that would be it. Like, nobody would want to have anything to do with me if I started to dissolve my business. And I talk myself into these bullshit fears, and sometimes they are like a legit fear. Like, am I going to lose some people? Absolutely. But sometimes I'm going to lose them anyway, whether I stay in business or not. So assuming that that's the only reason and that I shouldn't start looking at potential opportunities just because of a little fear doesn't make sense. I have somebody else in my life who is struggling financially, and her fear is wrapped around shame. Like, people are going to judge her. She's a little bit older, and at this point in her life, she should have it figured out. She shouldn't be, struggling so bad. And I thought, you know what? I get that, and I get that you're used to making money a certain way. You're used to your job title. But at 60 years old, if it's not working for you anymore, maybe that's your simulator saying it's time for a change, that you're meant for something bigger. There's people that start careers in their life at your age. There's no reason that you couldn't do that too. And she's looking at me like I'm crazy, but she's also looking at me like, you know what? You're right. I've been beating a dead horse for a long time, and nothing else is working, so maybe I need to start thinking differently. And I said, yeah, like really differently. And realizing that the fears, so we played out some of the fears, like what happens if you lose your house? What happens if you lose your car? What happens if you're homeless? And then what? Like, you're flat on your ass, broke as you've ever been. What's gonna happen? Are you gonna die? No. It's gonna feel like you're gonna die, and the shame that's wrapped around that, and the just feeling like a worthless piece of shit, I get it. But it's not actually gonna kill you. So, facing that and realizing that when we start to go through some of those fears, they start to dissolve. It becomes, you know what, this isn't actually real. The cement up to your chin, that's not real. So just surrender and lean in. And sometimes just that tiny little shift of realizing, if I lean in just a little bit, everything starts to shift. Everything starts to change. It becomes kind of clear. And the next part about that is being vulnerable. So some of the things that we're afraid of are telling people. And there's enormous guilt, shame, self-worth tied into that. I had that fear. And some people were worse than others. Some people, it was like, yeah, whatever, I don't really care what this person thinks of me. And some people I was like, oh my God, this could seriously shift our relationship. But at the end of the day, I'm not ashamed of what's happening in my life. It's a circumstance. It's not going to define me. It doesn't mean that I am my circumstance. So whatever. If you're going to take that stance, then it's probably not meant to be that you're in my life forever, whether we share the same last name or not. And it's amazing that sometimes when we are at our most vulnerable, when we are crumbling on the floor and we are just feeling like a pile of goo, that person who we open up to kind of scoops us back up, squishes us back together, and helps us to move forward. And in that space, when I'm telling people that I need to dissolve my business so I could liquefy my assets, and it sounds like everything's in a blender and whatever, I'll just divvy everything up. But that's what I needed. I needed liquid cash. I needed something to pull myself out of it. And the best part is, in just over a week, I went from being, oh my gosh, super anxious about not paying my bills, thinking that I am an irresponsible adult for choosing to pay for this abundance deep dive instead of paying for rent, and not knowing where my money was going to come from. Putting it out to the universe and all of my students and all of my audience, saying, this isn't working for me. My heart's not in it. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm thinking about doing something that doesn't really make sense, that I can't really explain, but feels really good. So if you want to buy my shit, now would be the time. And it is surprising. I'm actually running out of shit to sell to people. It does feel like a part of me is, they're pecking at me like vultures, so I've had to kind of work through some of that and the uncomfortable feelings that come with it. But realizing that they're not attached to it like I am, and the people that are attached to it are so supportive. One student who's taken one class has decided that this is something that she wants to do. She wants to basically duplicate my business and take the torch and just keep passing it on, keep going. And I'm like, this is amazing. So half of my inventory is going straight to her. She's paying me in chunks. And the cool part about it is the money that I'm gonna make from her, this is the best part, I'm actually gonna stop. The money that I make from her is gonna pay my bills for the rest of this year. Not the month, not a couple months, but the rest of 2018. It's August. So I have September, October, November, and December all taken care of, as well as the rest of August. I am thrilled, beyond thrilled. I get to now focus on writing and doing other creative ventures. I have no idea what I'm gonna do yet. But suddenly, just by telling the universe and telling the simulator, I'm not happy with this. I'm grateful for the experience, but I need to move on. I'm thinking about doing this. This feels really good. I need to trust you. Like, I trust you. Cannot get any worse than this. Can you help me out? And boom, this person shows up and says, oh my God, hook me up. Don't let this get away from me. And she's scared as fuck too. She's a brand new student. She's never done anything like this before. And it is a substantial amount of money. This is not like, like, oh, whatever, trip to Michael's. No, no. If it can pay my life and pay all of my living expenses for 4.5 months, that's how much money we're talking about. And it just happened, like, instantly. So I put up all of my stuff for sale on August 5th. It's now the 8th. And she sent me the first payment. And I'm just like, 2 days ago I had $62 in my bank account. And now I have enough money to live to the end of the year. So it works. Being vulnerable works. Digging through your shit works. And it isn't easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it and everybody would be abundant in all areas. And the thing is, it is emotional. And I'm happy. But it's like, okay, if I can do this, you can do this. It's really not as hard. The action steps aren't actually difficult. It just feels like that. It feels like it's impossible, but it really isn't. And sometimes you just have to take one little step of being completely uncomfortable, and then everything works out. So that's what today was about. And I really hope that this person in my life decides to take a chance on herself, to believe that she's worthy of an amazing life and that she can have something beyond what she's had in the last 60 years. I don't know what's going to happen, but I have hope for her, and I will send her positive energy and encouragement. And I realized, I wrote that down at the very top of my notes, is that I can effortlessly give people encouragement and hope. I can cheer them on. And in fact, a friend of mine the other day she said to me, I need a cheerleader. And that was the first thing she texted me. I'm like, okay, what do you need? And I realized I'm not the person that you hold hands with and I'm gonna stroke your hair and you can cry on my shoulder. I'm not that friend. I can do it, but it's not what I'm strong at. What I'm strong at is once you've done that, once you are a pile of goo and you need someone to help you, scoop you up and put you back together, kick you in the ass and get you moving again, that's me. That's when you call me. So, yeah, I am going to enjoy the fact that I have half of the money from this one student, and that I'm waiting for the rest of the dust to settle too. I've got a couple of other students that want some other things, and realizing too that yes, it's just stuff, and part of my journey with this will come to an end, and then part of it is just starting. This doesn't mean, like, just because I sell off a bunch of physical stuff in my life doesn't mean it's gone forever. I could always get it back again. You know, there might be something bigger around the corner. And I remember something one of my mentors said to me years ago was that you can't reach out for something new if you're holding on to your past, if you're holding on to junk, if you're not willing to release and have your hands open. So sometimes you just need to let go and hold your hands open. And it took me less than a week. So, until tomorrow.